Hey, John, I didn't see you there.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I was there every time. It's a cluster.
Yeah.
Allie, what's got your panties in a bunch? What's up with this ISS nonsense?
He's been
John,
fooled by the
what do you
green
think
screen.
about the finger, John? The super
Yeah.
vacuum station saving finger.
Well, I was back listening because I got up late. I was listening to the first episode, and I come across that is really funny. And I just happened to know, hey, he's got another show going. What's this, a marathon day, Nathan?
It's
I think
Sunday.
it is. But if I was that guy, I'd chop his finger off and I'd auction it. Imagine how much it would be worth.
Put it in a case.
They're gonna have it in the
museum.
NASA museum.
There you go, man. Now we're cooking.
What did Anthony say he stuck in there?
You can guess, can't you?
Yeah, well. Yeah.
What did he say? Where's Anthony at? What was that?
I'm here. I was just answering the phone. What have I missed?
Yeah, what did he stick in there?
What?
What the heck is a John Thompson?
John Thomas.
It's a John Thomas, yeah.
John Thomas is a
or
slang
John
name for a
Thompson?
penis.
I never heard that before in my life.
John
Yeah.
Thomas is his brother, I think.
Did Anthony say he stuck his John Thompson in there? Is that what he said?
Hold on a second,
John
hold on a
Thomas,
second.
you know, to plug the
John
hole in
Thomas.
the ISS that apparently they got a meteorite. Well, I said any hole's a goal, right? I'm surprised he didn't stick his John Thomas in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did the ISS, like, do they have pornography on there, or, like, how do they survive?
They got Facebook.
They
So
got
just out of
women
interest,
there.
if you did stick your penis into a hole that was into outer space, would that be a blowjob or a suck job?
It'd be the best
Same
look
thing,
job
isn't
I've
it?
ever had.
Same thing, innit?
That
She's
scene out
gone
of
from
Porky's
suck to
springs to
blow.
mind.
Oh, where
Have you
she's
seen the
pulling
film
it.
Porky's?
Yeah,
Well, this is
You know the
intellectual
glory hole in the
stimulation.
shower?
Yeah.
That's the scene
Well,
that
you-
I've got in my
you
mind right
started it,
now.
John.
And
You
she's
started
pulling
this
it off.
conversation.
I've started it, so I'll finish it. Let's just deteriorate any further.
Right, let's just be real.
I
here.
think
Let's
I
all
think
go
what
back to
started
basics.
I think what
Let's
started
not
all the
turn the
silliness
out.
was really just how silly this story is of the
Yeah.
ISS and the finger
Yeah, that's
and
actually.
the hole, and there's the same picture of the album from 2014.
All right, here's
Like,
a
come
question,
on.
guys. Here's a question, and guys. If he did do that, right, what would the outside atmosphere have? What would be the conditions that he was able to do that in? Then what would the outside atmosphere have to be then?
A
if he was-
studio, a Hollywood
It would
studio.
have to be of a similar
Right, okay,
pressure.
Right, okay, right. So you would think, and you would think that was the atmosphere from the outside trying to get in, or was the atmosphere from the inside trying to get out?
Well, it's
There
the
is
outside
actually
trying to get
inside
in.
trying to get out.
Exactly. So what's essentially happening with his finger would be that anything that in our standard atmosphere, when your blood's pumping around your finger, it's being resisted to a certain extent by the atmosphere around you. That's creating a pressure on your skin. Well, if you stick your hand into a vacuum, the pressure that's being pumped from your heart through your veins is going to pump directly into the atmosphere. It's going to overwhelm that pressure is going to be overwhelmed by the negative pressure, or whatever you call it, the lower pressure system that you're putting your finger into.
Yeah, Juice
Right.
did do well, I agree.
Yeah, well, exactly. So therefore, if he did do it, the question is, what is the outside atmosphere then? What is the space? But you don't believe in it. So, but these are the questions I ask myself. If he was capable of doing that, what is the atmosphere? What's the medium that the moon?
Aye, but is
the
that not
sun-
a pre-assumption? Like assuming that the Earth's got a radius. If the Earth's got a radius, then we live on a ball.
But all right, I got another question for Ali. I mean, you say that you don't think the speed has anything to do with what's going on up there, but look at the way that the ISS is supposed to be shaped. All right. Now, you're saying that if it's not a vacuum, right, how is something that's shaped like that moving around? Let's say there is some type of tiny
It's
atmosphere.
currents, magnetic currents. There's some kind of, I believe, right? This is what I believe. I believe there's some kind
No,
of.
but let me real quick.
Oh, okay.
But like
All
you see how it's shaped, right? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like how if
Understand.
there's any type of air resistance, something like that is not going to survive the
No, it would
speeds
break
that it's
apart
supposed to be
instantly,
going.
wouldn't it?
Right.
Right.
So therefore, what does that tell
Right.
you then? What does that tell you then?
Well, their story is it's supposed to be a vacuum, right? That's the only reason
No,
that
no, they
something
don't.
like that
No, they
can.
don't. They
What
don't
do you
say
mean,
that.
no,
It's
they
a
don't?
low. It's a low pressure system. It's not a vacuum.
Yeah.
That was a load
No,
of
But
wait a
it's
bullshit.
in
second, wait a
space.
second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second.
That isn't
Wait,
a vacuum.
wait a second.
Exactly. That's
Wait a
true.
second.
How did they- how
you
did
have
they
to
flow
go with
then?
their story. It's about 10 to the -6 torr, somewhere in that vicinity.
Which is not a vacuum. It's
It's a
lower
partial
pressure system.
vacuum. It's pretty powerful as compared to sea level.
Right, but that's what they're telling you it is.
Well, that's the story that you have to go on.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because
All
it's
right,
the-
okay.
because
Following
it's
that logic,
established.
then we went to the moon. Then, John.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no,
no,
no.
we
You're
didn't.
missing it.
Ah, see.
Hold on,
See, we
hold
reversed
on.
the
Let me
roles.
just get something in. Sorry to interrupt.
See, you-
hold on.
you don't agree.
Hold on. Let me just get something in. That's totally unfair, Ali, because that would be the assertion that could be laid at your feet, not at John's.
Yeah,
So
I know.
do-
I've been
yeah,
getting
you
it laid
do.
at my feet, Nathan. That's what gets laid at my feet, and yous are using the same logic as I'm using. Yet
Well, that's
my logic
that's
is
a
not
bit
good enough.
unreasonable, isn't it, Ali? Come on. If nobody's laid that at your feet, but
No,
you've
but
just laid it
is.
at his.
It is, of course. Of course, it is. You're assuming. You say it right. For example, right? You're saying I believe some of what they say and some of what they don't say, right? And John's just saying,
Exactly.
"Oh, but we've got to believe that's the story. We've got to go with the story. Come on, man."
Yeah,
What-
is it
what?
goes to your opinion because you're a
Thank you.
freaky.
Yeah, it doesn't. This has nothing to do with logic. They have already established what the levels of the atmosphere are to the vacuum of space. That's already established. You
Isn't
can't
that an
go
appeal
back
to
on that.
authority, John? That's
You
appeal
can't
to
go
authority.
back on that. That's the
That's appeal to authority.
established part of the story.
Yeah.
So are you
And you believe it?
lying on that?
No. The point he's trying to make, Ali. Sorry, Arwin.
It's
Bear with me a
one rule
second.
for someone and
Bear
one
with me a
rule for
second.
someone else.
Just bear
I
with
know
me.
what
The
the
point he's trying to
making
make, Ali, is that if you're going to accept some of the narrative and yet you can debunk the entire medium that it sits in, then there's no point going through the minutiae of the other elements of that medium and what is in it. You can't accept one if a whole aspect's been debunked.
Right, so that would mean that it'd be better just not talking about the ISS then, right?
Well,
If it's
I
got nothing to
disagree.
do with the shape of the Earth.
Well, no, yes and no. They use it as
No.
a proof of the shape of the Earth, which is why it gets discussed. But it is a real thing. You can go and look at it.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but I want to know what the atmosphere is up there, right?
Me too.
So the only
Yeah,
way that I
well,
can find out what the atmosphere is assume, not believing, assume that what they're talking about. I use that as a stepping stone to imagine what that if it is up there, and I know it's not a vacuum, and I know the Earth's flat,
Yeah.
right? I am looking to think, right? I'm looking to think, right? If all that's true, well, the Earth is flat. What is it they're up in then? That's what I'm looking at,
Exactly.
and so I have to think.
Exactly.
If
I
there
have to
is
assume
anything
that.
up there, if
I have to
there's
assume
anything
that.
up there,
I
then
have to
it's going to
assume-
have
I
similar
have-
pressures as
I have to assume
well
that to find out what it could possibly be. Okay, and that's my search. That's what I am doing.
Sure, but I
That's
think when you
basically
say,
what I'm
hold
looking
on,
at.
but there's two different.
Speculation, though. You
There's two
have
different.
to use their story, their
You
medium.
have to do that.
They've already established that. What's so
Yeah.
hard to
This is
understand
getting
about this?
confusing. This
It's
is so
not that
confusing, man. 1 minute, no, it is because you're saying that you've got to believe their story, and then you're pulling me up for
Oh, my
believing
God.
their story. That's what you've just said there. You're just accusing me. You're saying you've got to believe their story, and then when I say that I assume that I'm following their story, suddenly it's a lie. It's so inconsistent. So
Who's doing that?
inconsistent, man.
Who's burping down
Hey,
their
hey,
microphone?
stop this belching. Who's
Who's
belching
doing that?
on here?
Who's doing that?
Yeah, that was a bit.
that was Jacob. I kicked
That was
him. It
Jacob.
very interruptive anyway.
It's
It's
You're
just
disgusting.
not following this, Allie, right?
Of course I'm not. I
NASA
don't get it.
and Yeah, because we're getting screwed up with the story thing. Okay, they have already established what the atmosphere is, the layers of the atmosphere, space. They've already been out there, right? I'm using their story to debunk their story. So they should already know. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I'm using their story to find out what space is, what space actually is. So what's the difference?
Oh, hold on. Is that the real Jose? Unmute.
Yeah, that's me with the new
Okay.
new avatar. All right,
Yeah, there was a
jumping
troll
here before
earlier.
it ends. Ah, that's messed up. Yeah, first time I joined today now.
Yeah,
I'll keep
somebody
the avatar
stole your
hidden.
face, man.
Well, that's really great.
I made it
What the
big
heck
time.
are you talking about? They have already established I've already said this 3 times. I don't see the problem in understanding this. Right? They've already been out there. They've already been purported to go out there. So we're using their story to debunk their story.
And what do you think
I'm
I'm doing?
about that.
So what do you think I'm doing?
Auto believing.
Speculating on.
Well,
I don't
I'm
know.
auto-believing. I believe the earth is flat, so how am I auto-believing? I'm using exactly what John's doing to
No,
debunk it.
you're not.
I'm using it to. But wait a minute.
Oh,
Yes, I
God.
am. I'm accepting what they're telling me is true and trying to work out what the thing is, what the atmosphere is. I don't see anything. You're doing the same, but you're using it to debunk.
Okay, I think I understand now why there's a cross line or cross wire or whatever. So there's 2 different things we're talking about. Number one is a light in the sky that we can all see and observe. 2 is something that we're presented on a television screen that they associate with that light in the sky. So they're 2 different things. John's point being that everything about their version of the light in the sky has a whole narrative that goes along, and it's part and parcel. And what you're doing is saying, well, I want to take that parcel and see what truth is in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and and I'm taking their story as a parcel to find out what space is, because I know it's flat, right? I know it's flat, so I know that the ISS is not going around the Earth; it's going circling above the Earth, the same as satellites, right? The same as satellites. So why am I not allowed to do that?
The same reason we can't find any real proof of satellites.
Because satellites are supposedly in their vacuum of space. So if I destroy their vacuum of space, their narrative, then the satellites go away.
But scientists know it's not a vacuum. It's
What do
a
you
lower
mean?
pressure system.
What
It's not a vacuum.
scientists?
Stop saying it's a vacuum. Stop using that word. It's
Why?
fallacious.
It's a friggin' vacuum.
It's not a vacuum.
Oh, God.
They don't call it a vacuum. They call it a lower pressure system. It's not a complete vacuum. It's not a full.
No,
what we
they don't.
understand.
Okay, citation, please.
Say again?
Citation, please.
I just gave you one. Me.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Now you can choose to believe what I said, or you can just get off your ass and go and find out whether what I say is true. I'm not obliged
I
to.
mean, it's just like
I'm not obliged.
From a
I'm not
cosmological
obliged.
perspective,
I'm not obliged. Listen, I'm not obliged. I'm not obliged to spoon feed you evidence, mate. If you want to find it, you go out for yourself and find it. So
That'd
I've
be
not
like friggin' Elmer Fudd.
I don't need to. I don't need to prove anything. Listen. I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I'm not obliged to prove anything to nobody.
You can't spoon feed me, brother.
If you can give me a quote, go and find out then. All the
If
questions
you
that you're asking.
you're making the claim. You go find it. You said
Right.
it wasn't a vacuum.
But I
This
don't
is-
want to go and find. I don't feel I have to. I'm not obliged to do anything for anybody.
Okay, but Ali, this
there's
is
space
called
up
flat
there,
Earth
then
debate.
it's not gonna be
If you come on here, if you make a claim, you don't tell the other person that you're making a claim to for them to go find it. If you're making a claim, you have the source to back up what you're saying. You're
He's
just wanting us
sharing
to
his
trust.
beliefs.
Those are rules. Those are
He's
rules
just
and
sharing
regulations.
his beliefs. He even says, I believe this. Okay, so he's not trying to claim proof. He's
Well,
just
this isn't a
speculating.
belief show.
Thanks, Arwen.
This-
Yep, that's it.
Go find another show. This isn't a belief show.
This is
Oh,
flat
you're
Earth
the
debate.
Oh, there you go.
This is
Hey,
called
listen, go join the
theorizing.
government, John, go and get a job in government, mate.
So that's what it comes
Listen
down
to
to.
this
He's
guy.
gonna
Go get a
he's gonna
job
ad
and tell
hom
him.
you.
Tell me to leave the show. Tell me to
No,
leave the
I ain't
show.
telling you to leave the show.
You just
I said
did.
this isn't a
Did.
belief show.
Yeah, just and go. Yeah, exactly.
Go
Right,
get a
John,
job
on
in
you
the
go, mate.
government.
On you go,
I'm
mate.
retired military.
I
How
don't give a
about
shit.
exploration
Yeah.
of possibilities? Is that not
No cursing.
well?
Oh yeah,
Because
sorry.
I thought
apologise
about
for that.
this, and yeah, I agree with Ali. If there is a
Wow, what?
space, it's a very important if statement. If there is more room up there, a lot, then it's not going to be a vacuum because that's impossible. But yeah, it is going to be like an air layer. I entertained
that's
this
why-
thought
that's
very
why
early on, like if it's up there, if there's not some kind of border or a dome or whatever, then yeah, that's
I'm trying to
indeed how
build a
it would
picture.
be.
I'm trying to build a picture in my head of it, and I don't think that I'm not allowed to say what I believe. I know that it's a low pressure atmosphere and the ISS exists and there's people in there. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see why people get triggered.
I can't go with you in
No,
that
I know you
department.
can't. I'm not
Because-
expecting anybody to do. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I was asked a question
No,
and I gave
Ali,
you my
Ali,
truth.
look, I
gave my
agree
truth.
It's cool, dude.
because
It's cool. I have no animosity.
And I
agree because
apologise for
space
telling you to
is
shut the fuck up, Alan. I'm
ridiculously.
very sorry.
It was
I really-
a break.
Yeah, I was just a bit triggered there, mate, and I do apologise for saying that. I shouldn't have said that, and I do apologise to
It's
Nathan
alright.
for swearing as well. Yeah,
It's
but
alright.
no offence, mate. I was triggered about it, but as I say, that was So, but
you.
all good on the Western front.
Ali, you cool, man. You have a very interesting take on this because
Well, I'm
You know,
trying
and
to find out, and I believe that saying that ignoring space, ignoring the ISS, is going to get us nowhere in finding out, because that's my interest. Use lot can try and prove the Earth is flat to people. I know it's flat anyway. I don't care about that anymore. I've accepted that. I'm moving on. I want to find out what's up there. I'm more interested. I'm interested in the thought process. That I find that interesting.
There is no
The
thought
moon
process.
is-
That's the whole point. You
Check out
can't-
my channel.
All you could
then,
do
Ali.
is
It's full of
do is speculate. That's all you're gonna do.
And that's all it will all be able to do. But what's wrong with a bit of speculation?
But what's wrong with it? Well, yeah, you can go on.
That's how
go find a
inventions get
speculation
made,
show.
John, if the human race did not speculate, nothing would have ever got invented.
I don't think.
I
I
agree
think
with
we
you
got
there.
two different definitions of what speculation is. You're never going to find out. You're never going to know. All you can do is take their story. See, you can't parse their story, right?
No,
It's the whole
he's
thing. The
ignoring
whole
it.
narrative got to be evaluated, right?
He's
everything
figuring
is
out his own
connected.
story.
Arwen, can you shut up for a second?
It's like
You can't parse and parcel out different things from their story. Everything in their narrative is connected. Right? You can't parcel and parse out different things of the story irrespective of their narrative. It's inane.
yeah, in your opinion. If you don't want to expand your mind at all, if you don't like
It's
thinking,
not an
John,
opinion. It's
you're
just common
dogmatic.
apodictic
you're
sense.
too listen, mate, you're too dogmatic, right? If everybody thought like you, humanity would have never achieved anything.
Dogmatic about what? Too dogmatic about what?
What you're saying there. What you're
What I'm
saying there, you're
saying
saying
is specific.
you say that we've got to accept their narrative, right? We accept that narrative, and you accept that narrative to get your opinion across. I'm doing the exact same as what you're doing, but coming to a different.
Go back down this road again. It's not the same thing. Nathan just
No, of course
explained
it's
it to you again.
But I don't agree with the explanation. I'm doing the exact same what you're doing, what everybody
You're
else is doing,
not.
trying to find out what's going on. Yes, I am. Maybe not in your head because I don't agree with you, John, but I am. I am.
I don't. This is inane gibberish to me.
No, it's just his thought process. I know it's very hard
Yeah, well,
to empathize
it's
with
funny
other
how-
people, John, but I understand him.
Oh, it's not that I don't understand him. I understand that it's inane gibberish. That's what it is.
Not.
He's
It's theorizing.
yeah.
about what
It's
you
not.
Thank you.
Nuh-uh. Great argument.
Thank you. It's
hold
theorising.
on.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
I'm going
If
with
you-
the proof.
No,
The proof presented, and I'm making
no,
a case
it's
for it.
not theorizing. It's
Exactly what you're
speculation.
doing. Exactly
Abject
what you're doing.
speculation. It is not.
It's exactly what you're doing, matey. You're using their story to prove them wrong. I'm using their story to find out what the moon, the sun, what the atmosphere is. All right, they're telling me certain things that happen.
So you're using their
proves-
story to tell you what's out
science
there. Okay,
proves-
please show us.
Science proves they're wrong.
What?
And most of them. Science proves they're wrong in their in what they say that the space is, that we're a closed system or we're an open system. They're totally
Science
wrong
doesn't
with that.
prove Science didn't do that.
I never said it did. Oh no, but they try to
You
say
just
that.
said it.
They say that. They say that though, right? And they try to prove it. Stop picking on words. Stupid. That's
Well,
stupid.
words mean things, right?
Yeah, they
That's
do.
all
but
I got
you
to go on.
exactly.
I can't read your mind. I don't have special Evo mind powers. I can
That's
only
it, you
use your
don't.
word.
It's like
You
they
don't.
say
You
that
don't. That's
the
true,
Earth is a
John, you
closed system, right? But you believe they went to the
can't-
moon,
It
so
can't be.
He
It
just
can't
can't be.
he is defending us. Don't you? Are you not listening to what Ali's saying? He's saying
No,
yes.
I
He
am
doesn't
listening.
agree with that narrative. That doesn't mean that he can't just explore
I'm trying to figure out
ideas.
what it is that he agrees with and what it is that he doesn't agree with, because there are parts that he agrees with and parts
Yeah.
that he doesn't. So
Apparently.
I'm trying to establish which is which. That's all.
Right,
I'm
okay,
doing.
right.
I've never
Listen,
spoken to
I'll
Ali
tell
B
you.
before, so this is fascinating to me.
All right,
'cause-
let me tell you exactly the parts. Right, rockets exist. They send people up in rockets. The ISS exists. There's people up there. After that, I don't believe it's traveling at 17,500 miles. After that, that's it. There you go. That's
Yeah, but
that's the narrative I take.
Well,
of-
that's
of
where I
going up
jumped
there.
in last time, though, Ali. So you made a false connection. So you said the ISS exists. There's people up there. Well, there's two different things at play. There's a light in the sky that we can see, and there's a full narrative with a ball Earth, a vacuum of space, and things falling around that ball, and that ISS that they present on TV, which is attributed to being the light in the sky. But they're two different things. The light in the
but I haven't
sky
seen-
and
but I'm
what
not
NASA
talking
tell
about
you.
attributing light in the sky. Sorry, Nathan. I'm not talking about the light in the sky. I'm talking about the actual thing. I've not seen it as a light in the sky or anything. I haven't seen it. I don't see that as, oh, look, that must be the ISS. No. All I'm going is by what the film is. I've looked at footage. I've done exactly. Of course, I want to find out about debunking it. I've watched all the debunk. I want it to debunk everything that they fling out. But I'm not going to be dishonest, intellectually dishonest with myself and say, oh, yeah, that's proof positive and some shady because some guy on YouTube goes, look, they're on, well, look, I can see wires and stuff like that when they can be explained 100 other different ways, man.
But Ali,
When
if
you don't see wires, I don't see wires. I don't see them. I don't see wires and I don't see bubbles.
Okay, fair enough.
So hang me.
Ali, I want to
that's
ask
fair
a
enough.
question.
This
If you don't
this
believe,
might be a source that I can put you in front of that might convince you otherwise that you may not be aware of. So there's a YouTuber called Dilly Gill, Dillyggill, two separate words, Dilly Gill. Now it's not short.
Right, 1 second. I'll just.
It's not a short. It's going to take you a day if you watched all of it at once, minimum. They're several hours long.
What's the name
documentaries.
again, Nathan? Sorry, the name
Dilly,
again.
Dilly, and then Gill, Gill. Exceptionally good YouTuber. But he has a series called The Space Shuttle is a Zero-G Plane. And in that, he goes into extreme detail about precisely how they are faking the ISS. And you can take that as an extrapolation of his work. He focuses specifically on the live and pre-recorded footage of space missions, the STS missions. So the techniques that have been developed during the shuttle era are what he focuses on. And all of those techniques, I'm going to assert this, don't argue with me, I'm not trying to trigger you, but all of the techniques that have been developed in those missions are now being used on the ISS.
All the what? Sorry, Nathan. All the
techniques. So, Dilly Gill, I'm paraphrasing what he asserts. So, NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography and always have been. This would be exemplified by things like Barry Lyndon, where Kubrick borrowed lenses from NASA. He didn't have the technology, NASA did. Now, that's just one example, but NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. And in terms of how they currently use the maps that they acquired for what happens in quote-unquote zero-G, otherwise known as free fall, that is what he explains. He also takes you through how they faked live broadcasts of people floating on high wires, the techniques used, and how they did it live with an audience. It's just a magic trick. It's just high wires. You don't have to like it.
I've got the video. I've got the video there, Nathan. I will watch that. Good stuff.
It's take you quite a while, but I'm not going to... This is no joke. I must have watched his full series of videos at least 3 times. It gives me goosebumps just recommending him because I think he's an exceptionally good YouTuber. In terms of his older stuff, no, he wasn't the greatest editor in the world. Doesn't matter at all. He's excellent, and he explains it in great detail. He's focused on a very specific time period and what they're doing. He puts it together with evidence. He abuses and misuses the word experiment all the way through, but if you can forgive him that, other than that, I've got absolutely no criticism of what he does.
What's that channel again, Nathan? What's the name of the channel?
Dilly.
It's Gelly Dill. Gelly Dill.
Oh, have I got it the wrong way round?
Dilly.
Oh no,
Gill.
it's no. Now it says Dilly Gill, and the video I've got is ISS internal fakery by Gelly Dill, and then underneath it's got subscribe to Dilly Gill instead of Gelly Dill. So, but I've got it here anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dilly. DILLYGILL.
Yeah, I've got it here as what you said it was, but the video I got, the guy spelt the name wrong. It was someone mirrored his video. I got a mirror of his video there, and he's called him. 1 minute he's called Gelly Dill, and then it's subscribed to Dilly Gill instead of Gelly Dill. I don't know.
If you want to see it spelled out in case it hasn't come through on when the line's on me, but telex is it? Thank you. DILLYGILL. It's in the chat rolling bar right now.
I've got it now, bud.
The point is, Ali, a lot of that footage is really suspect, man. If you look at that, it's just really suspect.
Thing is, dude, I'm not dogmatic about my beliefs. I'm willing to change my mind in a second because
and I feel that
I have no
obviously, because
embarrassment.
you're a flat earther.
I don't care whether I'm right or wrong, mate. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'll admit I'm wrong. I really don't care whether I'm right or wrong. As I say, I'll look at everything, but I'll speak what I see. You know, if I see it in another way and people don't agree with me, well, I don't really care. You know, I'm not going to be bored about it or anything like that. You know, I think for myself.
That's how it should be, man.
You know, that's the reason that I'm in YouTube. I don't follow the crowd, and if I'm a wee bit different, well, so be it. I don't care. We're all a wee bit different, you know. Definitely. We're all a wee bit different.
Well, listen, this isn't an agree-disagree subject, right? We're looking for scientific evidence. We don't care about your opinion, your beliefs, what your favorite color is, right?
Speak for yourself.
We want scientific evidence, right?
Yeah, spoken like
That's
a true
what
baller.
we're going for. So agreeing to disagree is out of context. It's inane in this genre. Thanks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're too
Sorry,
dogmatic. You've just proved my point. You're too dogmatic, John. You're showing your military. You're showing the military's coming out on you now.
They had
Oh God! What are you going to do next,
guys?
What's
they had
what's
Tom's
going
have
to be
to
my
stop.
favorite color in
Come
3
on.
months?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're detrimental to a conversation because the minute people start speculating, you get in there and you cut it down. You don't even give a chance
You
for the
betcha.
conversation.
You
Yeah,
betcha.
exactly.
As soon as you
And
start
you're
speculating,
treating.
I'm
you're
coming
treating-
in with the nail spike Louisville's 44-inch slugger. You betcha.
Yeah, well, there you go then. You're stopping conversations. Now, if you think that's
I'm stopping
productive,
speculation.
well, if you think that's productive, that's fine.
Yeah, it
But
is productive.
I don't agree. It's productive.
Censorship.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called
It's not
censorship.
censorship. I'm
Exactly.
going to beat it over the head.
Yeah, but that's it, and that's what I'm saying. No insult, but this is your military training coming out in you, mate. This dogmatic thing.
I'm pretty
That's what
dogmatic about things. Water
Yeah, but-
boils at 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. I'm pretty dogmatic about that. Why? Well, it's been scientifically validated. So yeah, I'm pretty dogmatic about that.
How did
Yeah.
you measure the temperature then, John?
Yeah.
Really, Arwen? How did I measure the temperature? With a thermometer.
Yeah, right now.
That's a
okay.
man-made device, don't you know?
Really? Well, we were talking about natural phenomena. The phenomenon, natural, is the water boiling, not the thermometer.
Really? And how are you-
Yeah. Natural phenomena
Right.
observed.
All right.
The boiling
All right.
water. Hold
All
on,
right, John.
Allie. Hold on,
Hold-
Allie.
Apologise.
Hold on.
Apologise. Yep.
Hold on. Go ahead, Arwen.
Yeah, so how are you going to boil it?
Natural phenomena observed. Water boiling. Well, water boils naturally, right? I could go up to Glacier National Park and see it, or Yellowstone and see water boiling naturally. What about your thermometer? What was that again?
Well, what if, for example, the temperature doesn't boil at 100
But
degrees?
no, it
But
does.
it boils at, for example, say 95 degrees? Then, yeah,
Well, yeah. What?
No,
Yeah.
but
it's polluted. So the boiling temperature becomes different.
Well, water's boiling. We already see the natural
Yeah, but
phenomenon.
not at 100 degrees
Right.
Celsius.
we already
This is
see
the
water
water.
boiling, right? So that is a natural phenomenon. Now what we do is take water at sea level and measure what temperature that water boils at. See? The thermometer isn't the natural phenomenon. The water boiling is. So you got the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, but water is a wide phenomena basically. So unless you want to have pure pure water, which does not occur naturally, like what is it, distilled water? It doesn't occur naturally. Has no solutions within it. So
what's up with the thermometer?
you're going to use other types of water. Well, guess what?
You're on other
Depending
types
on
of water.
what is
Yeah.
dissolved in that water,
What happened to the
temperature
thermometer?
of the boiling is going to be
What happened to
different.
the thermometer? You quickly
Oh, you're
dropped
still
that,
using it, aren't you?
quickly dropped that thermometer, didn't you?
I'll jump in on the thermometer, right? Okay, so we've got water boiling as the phenomena, right? All you're measuring when you put a thermometer into that water is the reaction that the mercury on the glass is reacting to the heat that's coming off there. You're not measuring heat at all. You're measuring the reaction of mercury.
What?
You're not measuring heat.
There's no chemical reaction going on there.
It rises in the glass tube, does it not?
It's pressure. It
not a
expands
reaction,
because of heat and causes pressure in all directions, and it outcrowds the air above.
You're getting off into the weeds. I'm going back to the thermometer.
Yeah, I'm in the thermometer. I'm talking about that. All you're doing,
Arwen's thermometer.
you're not measuring. All you're measuring is the reaction that boiling water has on mercury in a glass tube. End of story. That's all you're doing. That is all you're doing.
Oh, wow. That really debunks water boiling.
I wasn't trying to debunk. I'm just telling you what you're doing. You're not measuring the temperature of water. You're measuring the reaction.
You're missing
You're
the trees.
no.
Boiling water is not a chemical reaction.
You're measuring. All you're doing is measuring the reaction of hot water against a glass tube with mercury in it.
There's
That's
no
all you're
chemical reaction.
Allie, you're
with the
being
mercury.
dogmatic.
Boiling water is not
Yeah,
a
you're being
chemical
dogmatic.
reaction.
You're missing the point. That's not the point. The point was scientific evidence, right? Water boils at a certain temperature at sea level, right? That's the point.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the
nice
point.
one. Nice evasion.
What happened to the 100
What
degrees?
evasion was it?
What happened to the 100
See,
degrees?
dumb man.
That's very
then?
specific.
Yeah,
Yeah, he changed the temperature. He just says it boils now, and it measures the heat. It doesn't
What the
measure
hell are you
100
talking about?
degrees.
What
Just
are
what
you-
you said there. Repeat what you
What
said
it
there,
should
John.
do. What's your point?
Well, my point is that you're not measuring the temperature of the water. All you're doing is measuring the reaction between boiling
Oh, here
water.
we go again.
Well, what are you doing then? Tell me what you're doing.
I'm
You're just
telling you.
measuring a
that
reaction against
scientific
glass
evidence
and
is
mercury
that-
and water.
Well, if you'd
Hot
shut up,
water.
I'd tell you. You gonna shut up?
I'll try to.
Ask a
The
question.
point of the discussion was, Allie, that water boils at a certain temperature at sea level. That's scientific evidence. That's the point. That's why I'm dogmatic about it. And then Arwen came in and said, whoa, wait a second. What did you use to measure that? A thermometer. Yeah, I did. Because the thermometer is not the natural phenomenon. The water boiling is. That's the point.
Well, isn't the mercury rising a phenomena also?
No, it's a measuring instrument.
Yeah, but you're observing the phenomena of mercury rising in the glass tube.
No, you're observing the phenomena of... So the first step in the scientific method is to observe a phenomena. So you walk...
Natural.
Natural phenomena. So you come across a hot spring and you go, wow, that water's bubbling. What's going on? And you can scientifically validate the cause of the boiling.
Yeah.
How?
So I'm dogmatic about that.
So it's
No, but
it's
I'm,
not...
I'm just saying, but you've got a second phenomena there.
No, you don't.
Mercury reacting with the hot water.
No,
It's
you
a
don't,
measuring
because
tool.
thermometers with mercury in them don't exist naturally. They're man-made.
Exactly.
But it's
Right.
a tool.
Where's the experiment then? You're using a measuring tool.
So the
A
point-
man-made measuring tool. If you want to go down that road, I can take you down that road as well if you want.
Oh, you could go down that road. I'm standing down there with the nail spike 44-inch Louisville Slugger. Just come down the road, please.
No, okay.
You're forbidding
Hold on,
vacuum.
I just want to... For
and
Ali,
that
do
stuff,
you
so-
understand the point that's being made here?
Yeah, but do you understand the point I'm making? I do understand, but I'm just saying that if you put an object into hot water, right, and you see the mercury rising, it's a reaction between that hot water, the glass tube it's in, and the mercury.
That's very true. The point that he's making isn't about experimenting on boiling water. The point he's making is you can scientifically validate things. You can establish a cause and effect relationship after observing a natural phenomena. Now, this is what's called scientific evidence, and it's repeatable. Anybody can try and debunk it, falsify it. When you go forward to try and establish the cause of the effect in your hypothesis, you'll have a no effect result. So you can say, well, it's not adding ice that makes this water boil. So if your independent variable was ice, it would have no effect. It probably would have a slight effect, actually, but that's not the point. My point is, it's not the actual cause of the effect. But when you finally establish the cause of your effect, you have scientific evidence, something that's proof of what is asserted. In this case, water boils at 100 degrees at sea level. That can be scientifically validated. And there's no argument, there's no dogma, it's just a fact.
Exactly.
You can't use 100 degrees anymore because there are other variables.
I'm nearly there, Arwin. So, in contrast, when you take a Just So story about a light in the sky with people in it, that is about as far removed from scientifically valid as you could be. It's a Just So story. And you're saying, but I like little bits of the Just So story, and using that Just So story, I'm going to find some truth. And John's saying, no, that's not how you find truth and facts and proof.
But that's what John's doing, Nathan. You're misunderstanding. John's doing the exact same. What he's just saying. He's using what they say to debunk it, so he's using their proof as well. So why can't I use my proof to...
No, he's not. He's taking what they tell us and saying, you assert that we have a vacuum. That's part of the narrative of the globe and space system that they portray as a complete thing. It's not separate entities that you can choose bits from. It's an entire narrative with a globe in the middle, space on the outside, an open system with rockets going in and out of it, the satellites that we're arguing about. All of that stuff is part of that single narrative. And within that narrative, they have two things, specifically two things. One, we definitely know is real. That would be gas pressure. The other would be a secondary system of a considerably lower pressure. I'm not going to label it with the V word. A considerably lower pressure system.
Thanks, Nathan.
Right. But that is their two assertions in their narrative, which is complete. Yeah? Now, you can debunk that with science. You can make a single assertion that they will never be able to validate, which is, can you have the gas pressure, the bit I know is real, without a container? The bit that they assert in their entire narrative about outer space and the lower pressure system that exists beyond the gas pressure. So, with science, you can debunk the entire narrative about outer space, along with it, the ISS and what they claim about it.
But you haven't been able to so far after 3 years.
Say again?
But you haven't been able to do so after 3 years.
Do what?
Debunk the ISS.
I have.
I'm still waiting.
Wow.
I'll do it again. Listen up.
He totally misunderstood what you
And it's
just
all right.
said.
It's all right. If Ali's saying no, you haven't, then that's good, because it means that there's members of the audience that are of the same opinion, and that's brilliant. I'll just repeat it in a slightly different way. So, you appreciate, Ali, that we definitely have gas pressure. Would you agree?
Absolutely, 100% behind you on that one.
Would you also agree that they, the people that give us the information, let's call them NASA, assert that there is a lower pressure system beyond that gas pressure? Would you agree?
I would agree, yes.
Excellent. Are you aware of the second law of thermodynamics?
Yes. When something starts, entropy, for example.
Yeah, entropy is the single word that would summarise it in the most succinct way for this example. So you understand entropy.
Yep.
High pressure to low pressure, things dispersing, all of that good stuff.
Yep.
So, we definitely have gas pressure.
Yeah.
How about the other bit? The lower pressure system outside of that. How is that possible given that we have entropy?
Yeah, but that would suggest. But see, people imagine space as a sucking thing. What happens if it's denser up there?
That doesn't answer my question. Forget about what it could be. We're talking about. I tried to explain it by saying this is an entire narrative, Ali.
Oh, right. Well, that's it. Well, that doesn't. What do you call it? Compute
Work
with me.
Work.
Because that goes
Doesn't
against.
work,
Right,
Ali.
that
Doesn't
scientific-
work.
Right,
The
listen,
word you're
scientific
looking for.
Narrative. Right,
The word you're looking for is
agreeing with
work.
Nathan. Listen, can I listen? Right. Okay. Let me listen. But that narrative doesn't work. It can't be. You can't have a lower pressure system against a higher pressure system.
Right. So where
Right.
does the
therefore,
hold on, hold on,
So
hold on, Ali, I'm
that
taking you through it a step at a time, mate. I'm trying. So where does the ISS exist?
It exists outside our, or part of our gradiated atmosphere, and I believe there's a medium up there that things floating. Right now, whether it's they say it's a low pressure system or whatever. I believe the atmosphere is actually the molecules are heavier, and we're actually pressed
We
down.
seem to have
by
strayed
the
back onto what you believe, Ali.
because not but because
Ali, we've
because
strayed
of
back
weight.
onto what
Wait,
you
let me
believe,
finish.
Ali. You were doing so well.
Right, but listen, because of the
Ali,
weight.
we've strayed on to what you believe. We are specifically talking about what they assert about the ISS and where it is. That's all one thing. Now you're saying, made it clear, we're not talking about the light we can see, but about their narrative. Specifically, space. Part and parcel of a single narrative.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
Ask him the question one more time.
So how do we have gas pressure without a container?
Due to weight, because the atmosphere is heavier than the medium that is space.
Right, but
so
we
it
have
sinks
but
due
we have
to weight, because
right.
the molecules, the atmosphere is heavier than the atmosphere outside.
Right.
The
you understand?
space
You
or whatever.
understand entropy? A gas will expand. You understand that bit, right?
Yeah, but then that would assume that there's a difference between pressure and weight, right?
Sorry,
if
before we get
something's
into this,
heavy,
Ali,
it doesn't necessarily mean it's
the
got
problem
pressure.
is you've already conceded. You've already conceded that it doesn't work.
I don't understand.
You've conceded. It doesn't work, does it? You can't have gas pressure with a vacuum or lower pressure system next to it. That doesn't work because it defies entropy. You've already conceded this.
Yep, I have done that, and that goes
excellent.
Into the point
Well, just bear with me then. Now I've got that. We're back on track. We're back on track, Ali. So you've conceded the medium that the ISS is asserted to be in doesn't work.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what I'm trying to find out what it is.
Wouldn't it be easier to just figure that maybe it's just not there if it's...
God, man.
No, it's not, mate. It's not easier for me to deny that.
Well, I mean, not that it's not
that
there,
is up
because
there.
people have seen something up there. We've seen a light in the sky up there, but if they're not honest about the medium, the very medium that it's in, why would they be honest about the people that they're putting in there? You know, like that's what I'm trying to understand.
Right, okay, right, here we go then, right? So how about this? So they get up there, they find out it's not the medium they thought it was. Are they going to tell you about it? Are they going to say, oh, suddenly, by the way, all our science is fucking, all our science is wrong. It's all wrong. We put our hands up, let's
buying the
start
narrative that they're up there still, even though up there doesn't work.
No, in their model. But in my model, it works because they're floating
and that's
around
where
in
they say
something
that it is, Ali. That's where they say it is.
In my model, it does.
Yeah, but that's where they're saying it is. And your only evidence other than the light in the sky is what's on TV. And what's on TV is in outer space, mate. Outer space that doesn't work.
Yeah, but I'm disagreeing with our medium. They're describing the medium wrong. It doesn't mean that's not up there.
So
You
what do you
understand?
what do you think the medium that they're floating around in is? What do you
Well,
think
I
it is?
tell you that guy. There was a guy called Robert Bassano, and he what do you call it? What do you call it? He thought he was talking about liquid hydrogen or something, but I don't know
Superfluid
about that.
helium he was talking
That's
about.
it, superfluid helium, right?
Because
Okay.
remember, I was on that show, wasn't I?
Right, all right, dude. All right, yeah. All right, calm down. I know, and I liked you when you kick your ass with thing, but you know, as I say, I can still disagree with you. But the point
Well,
is,
like I said, back to the agree disagree part. It's not a part of this genre. How many times do I have to say it?
Well,
until you're blue in the face.
in conclusion, Nathan got Ali to concede that it does not work. So whatever he says is just what he believes.
Yeah, but I've said it doesn't work. Exactly. But I've always said it doesn't work. I've always denied that we're on a ball and that's a vacuum. That's what they're telling us it is. It's not. They're not telling us what it is, but there's something floating up about there. The moon's floating in it. The sun's floating in it.
Now there isn't anything floating up there. That's the whole point.
There is
their
some
narrative. Their
the
narrative
atmosphere
says,
changes.
Ali,
And
no,
that's when
it's
if
not
you want to
floating up
deny
there.
that, then
Their
you will go
narrative-
no further.
God, their narrative says it's falling around a sphere Earth. That's also part of their narrative of what you see on TV, of what they say is the light in the sky.
Yeah, but you're going to see. We're talking about the atmosphere of space at the moment, not the ISS. I'm talking about the atmosphere. We moved on from that. We're talking about the atmosphere. Now they can be talking a load of shit about what space actually is, and I believe that's what they're doing. And the only way I'm going to find out is except there's an ISS, and if there is an ISS and the moon and all that shit there, what is it flying about in?
Okay,
how is it staying up there?
All right,
And it's
so
not
you
due to going round the Earth at 17,500. It's not that at all. It's
all right,
not that.
so you don't think it's a vacuum, right?
No.
So
Well, it can't be a vacuum because, as Nathan has just
exactly.
Yeah, but why
So
would
I
it be
don't believe
flying
it's a
around?
vacuum
Why
either.
do you think
That's
there's a
what I'm
tin
saying.
can up there? Why do you think it's a tin can with people in?
Well, I've no reason to think that it's not.
Other than they're lying about everything to do with the aspects of the narrative that goes along with it. So it's not falling
Well, I
around a ball Earth. It's not in space. Yeah, but other than that, about basically everything that's to do with that, but the tin can and people, that bit's true.
Yeah, Ali, like that's the problem I have, man. Like you say
Yeah, but just
you
because
have
you
no
don't get it.
reason to think that it's not. But those same people are turning around and taking pictures of the earth supposedly that are round that you don't believe. So
Yeah, but if you watch the ISS, I watched the ISS for hours, and that thing is going round in a circle. I've watched it change direction, actually going and
what
coming back
on
back round.
TV?
No, you
or
haven't.
in
You've just
real
said you
life?
haven't seen. No, you're
on the
lying.
TV.
You've watched what's on TV. You haven't watched the light in
I
the
saw
sky. You've never
Godzilla
even
on
seen it. You
TV.
said earlier.
No, I did say that on TV, right? Okay, I've watched
Right.
it live on YouTube and actually sat
So
and
I've watched-
watched what it was doing,
I've
and it was going
watched-
round in a circle.
Okay, well,
And they would
Ali,
cut it.
I've
would change
watched
the camera.
I've watched
Listen.
Godzilla for
Then they would
hours.
change the
Hold on,
camera.
Ali. I've watched Godzilla for hours. I've seen him sleep, mate, shit, you name it. I've watched Godzilla do it.
Right, and I've seen Godzilla. Prove me wrong.
That's my argument. Well done. Like you asking
Yes, I
Don
know,
to
it's-
prove that men have been to the moon, right? No, you don't get that cheap trick with me, Ali. No. Yeah, that's my argument, buddy. Yeah? There's no need to try and swipe my argument at the crescendo of my argument where I demolish the I've seen it on TV, therefore men are in a tin can in space argument.
If it's a good argument, it deserves to be used again.
You're
And I
rumpus in
used
the
it.
hangout. I can't hear a thing.
Was that meant to be an insult or something?
Yeah,
John?
you're rumpus in the hangout. I can't hear anything. I'm hearing bits and pieces of people talk because you're over talking them. What in the world?
He has to defend his religion.
I don't know why you're hanging on to this, Ali.
He doesn't want to let it go, man.
Yeah, I don't want to let go, man, because you know I'm delusional.
No, Ali, it's just that the very people that are
You
telling
are so
you it's a
hypocritical,
ball.
man. You pick and choose when to use logic or discount. Logic's not good enough, but logically thinking, and then you go on about argument
All right,
against
so
incredulity. Wait
you
a minute,
logic
can I
you
please finish?
go
Let
ahead.
me finish, and I'll
Go
be
ahead, go ahead,
one
go
second.
ahead, go
That was
ahead.
nearly finished.
Go.
So you use your argument, duty and credulity, and we don't believe it and stuff like that. Yet when I say something, you use the same thing. Oh, I don't believe that. It can't be. That's impossible and stuff like that. You are using the same shit against me that you use against ballers. I use the argument against incredulity or whatever you want to call it, incredulity or whatever.
Incredulity.
Incredulity. Thanks.
Incredulity.
Yep. Laugh because I can't
I'm
pronounce
not
it.
laughing. I just want
Nice
you to get
baller.
specific.
Nice
I want you
ball.
to
Nice
get.
Yeah,
baller
but-
reaction.
Here we go again. I want you to get
Ali-
specific. All
Ali-
you had was generalized, baseless assertions. You need to start getting specific.
How can I get specific if I've never been up there? I can only get as specific as my
No.
knowledge can reach.
No,
That's
not
it.
about up there. You
My
just
knowledge.
made a bunch of claims.
You're
You
putting
just
me.
made a bunch of claims here. Go ahead and support them specifically. Easy.
The problem is the only knowledge you have of people being inside that tin can that you think is up there. That all we see from here is just a light in the sky, right?
Mhm.
But you think it's a tin can with people in it, and I mean, I don't even know. Like, where's the logic in that? I mean, all right, this thing has been up there 20 years now. When was that thing put up there?
21.
21 years.
21 years.
It was.
And
It
it's
was
only had
built
one
up
meteor
there,
strike.
right? It was built up there, and it's been up there orbiting the Earth for 20 years, right? The only way people can get in and out of it is if they send people in a rocket to dock to it somehow or another when it's moving at whatever speed it's moving. I don't want to say the speed because you don't like it. So whatever speed it's moving at, people are docking to it from a rocket coming from Earth. Right? You believe all of that.
Yeah.
But then those same people will show you supposed footage and take pictures from that tin can of a round ball, but you don't believe that part. You believe the whole story until that part. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's when it breaks down, when they start saying about what space is and stuff like that. It just all breaks down for me. Not the technology to stick a rocket in space. We've been doing that for how long now? Very many years, right? They even tried to blow a hole in it in the 50s. So they've been doing that for years. They've been sending them up for years. I just believe what they're telling. They just fill it with half truths, and they mix the truth with lies. It's an old tactic. They do it all the time. They'll mix truth in with lies to obfuscate the actual what's going on there. Look, they're military. It's military up there, guys. It's military.
Well,
right?
if I may, Ali, I just want to reiterate my point just one last time, which is that you're saying they are sending rockets up to space because you've seen them send rockets up to space, but you've already conceded space doesn't work. So why do you
see?
think
Now you're picking on my words.
Yes, if they're important.
But in all
outer
honesty,
space,
Ali,
that's what we're talking about. Whether or not it exists, and using actual real methodology, you can disprove the medium that all of this stuff sits in. Space isn't real. You can't have what we experience daily, gas pressure, with a much lower pressure system next to it. That's what they assert. Same applies for them falling around a sphere Earth, which is how the thing's up there in the first place. Now, those are the two main aspects of what they say the light in the sky is. But you're like, no, I'll buy all of it, which is basically none of it, because there's people in tin cans on TV.
Yeah.
At least he admits it. At least
Yeah,
he's
I do.
not.
I do.
At
Of
least
course,
he
This
admits
is
it.
why I can talk with Ali and I respect him because
Yeah.
he'll say this is what I believe and that's what it is and that's cool. I'm just trying to figure out how it works in his head because it's driving me nuts. I'm sorry.
Well, let me just draw one last analogy. So let's pretend for 1 second that Santa, was actually travelling in super hexafluorine fluidium. Yeah, and this super hexafluorine fluidium is the medium that he travels through. And everyone believes that Santa is real. And then I come along and go, well, the problem is the super hexafluidium doesn't actually exist. And you say, well, no, but I still think the sleigh exists. I reject the medium it's travelling through, but I accept the sleigh still. That's what you're doing.
Well, Santa Claus, as we all know, as has been proven, is a fictional character.
It's an analogy.
Yeah, and I'm proving that the medium that the ISS sits in is a fictional medium.
Things.
I'm saying the medium that the ISS sits in...
Santa Claus does not exist. Nobody on this panel knows for a fact the ISS does not exist.
Yeah, we do, because I've debunked the medium it sits in.
No, yeah, but that doesn't matter. Just because you've debunked the medium, which I agree with, it's not a vacuum. Just because you don't know what the medium is. So my next thing is, well, if it's not a vacuum, what is it floating about in then? That's where I go.
Why would you assert that it's floating about at all, when all we have to go on is a light in the sky? If I shine a torch onto my ceiling and then track it around, right, and you see this light, then I make a whole television series saying that light in the sky that light on my ceiling is actually this miniaturized spaceship on the ceiling of my roof, right? And there's a whole narrative, there's a whole TV series, there's a 24-hour live feed showing this light in great detail, focused in on it closely. It's really just a torch that I'm moving around on the ceiling. But the narrative for that torch is this whole load of bullshit, and 90% of it gets debunked. But in the narrative, I say that light has got a spaceship in it. And you're just still accepting that spaceship just because I've got a torch still on the ceiling. It makes no sense. It blows my mind, Ali.
Right, 90% is not 100%, my friend, and that's where I am.
But the only bit that's not debunked is the light in the sky. My torch on the ceiling.
No, but it has maybe to your satisfaction, because maybe you're looking for that. You've got that prejudice. You truly haven't got an open mind and willing to take it. You're coming from a biased situation. A lot of you
get out of here.
Yeah,
Jesus, man. What a weak argument.
You don't see this. Yous are acting exactly what ballers do. Yous are doing to me exactly what ballers do to you, to us. You're doing the exact same.
Yeah, right.
Exact same.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Okay, you could break that down, but you won't see it because it's like the fish in water. The fish doesn't realise he's actually swimming about in water. But me standing on the beach is looking at the fish and say, "Oh, there's a fish swimming in water doing the exact same." And that's all yous are doing right now. I've got proof here.
What's the proof?
I've got proof for the last hour that I've been talking on this platform or whatever.
Okay, let me just try one last example. Then I'm gonna round out the show. I'll just try one last time. So there's a Fleagle monster, right? Now the Fleagle monster lives in liquid cardboard, right? And I've got all the details on the monster and how it breathes liquid cardboard and all the rest of it, yeah? If I debunk liquid cardboard, there is no longer any necessity whatsoever to debunk I've forgotten what it's called, the Flugelmeiger fish, or whatever it is that breathes liquid cardboard.
That's the problem with making names up, Nathan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if I've made up a medium that this thing sits in, yeah, it doesn't necessitate any further debunking if I debunk liquid cardboard. I don't then have to go on to I don't have to debunk the respiratory system of a made-up fish.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly. But what's your point? That's just an analogy. So what I could make the analogy.
Well, let me compare. Let me answer, please. So we've debunked the medium that the made-up tin can with people in it sits in. So we've debunked the liquid cardboard or space. Outer space is debunked. So you're saying no, you still need to debunk the shuttle in the medium of liquid cardboard or space. And I'm saying no, if liquid cardboard doesn't exist, there are no monsters breathing liquid cardboard. There's no vessel. I was just at the crescendo, Ali, for God's sake. So if I've debunked the medium... forget it. With that, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend, or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!